Welcome to Knockhill to the David Leslie Super Touring Car Festival. First up is the Fiesta Hot Hatch Championship. Over to you, Duncan, for race 1 for the commentary.
Let's have a look at the SMTA Fiesta and Hot Hatch Championship with the BMW Championship. BMWs are eligible to enter this. The only one we have on the track today, though, is unfortunately the pace car leading the guys in the Fiestas around. Decent number of Fiestas on track, and we maybe don't have the biggest quantity in the grid, but we do have quality drivers, that is for sure. Defending champion Wayne Macaulay has been, well, a little bit of a lull at the last meeting, but I've got to say he's come back very, very strong at this one. Pole position for that man. Alongside him will be Blair Murdoch, and then we'll see Ryan Stirling as well going very well. Lauren Murray with a great qualifying ahead of Russell Morgan. Stuart Scott a little bit further back than we'd expect Stuart Scott to be. Returning Nick Forsyth and Aidan Ward in that blue car with the white stripes that we can just see coming over the crest of the hill now. Car number 19. We get the rescue vehicle round the back. Cars are now on the grid ready to go. A little bit breezy here at Knockhill, but warm and dry. The 5-second board goes out. Who will get the whole shot down towards Duffy's Dip as the lights start to appear on the starters gantry? 5 lights on. Off they go. Very, very quick turnaround there. And big wheel spin by Aidan Ward. You can see the dark lines he's left on the track as they come down towards Duffy's Dip. Side by side action in the mid pack, but it did look like Wayne Macaulay was going to take that one. Yes, he's side by side with Blair Murdoch through Leslie's, but Macaulay takes the lead as he comes out of turn 3. Russell Morgan with a big bang over the inside curb. That's left him lame on the exit, and Stuart Scott capitalises and puts his number 3 car through that tiny, tiny little gap there. Stuart Scott definitely wasn't one for backing out of that manoeuvre. Clark Corner, here we come. Wayne Macaulay, Blair Murdoch and Ryan Stirling. All the rest of the guys coming through as well in shot. And Aidan Ward, the final car at the back, car number 19. Into the hairpin though, Wayne Macaulay already starting to put just a little bit of daylight between himself and Blair Murdoch. Now, Wayne Macaulay did tell me that he was down on power at the last meeting and they found pitted valve seats inside the engine. So that basically sounds like the valve hadn't been seating correctly in the valve seat. So there would be a loss of pressure in the combustion chamber, and that would possibly lead to a lack of power. Also, he said he had some sort of issue with a damper not working correctly. So those issues have all been solved, and well, everybody else now has a bit of a worry on their hands because Wayne Macaulay looks like he's back up to that pace where Blair Murdoch, good grief, for a second though, Murdoch comes through completely sideways through the chicane there and manages to gather that up. But yeah, Wayne Macaulay's back up to the pace he was at the start of the year, so everybody else really is going to be scratching their heads trying to find that same pace. Lauren Murray made a dreadful start there, hasn't he? Lauren Murray in the red number 5 unfortunately has gone from what was a second or third row start. He's way down at the back of the field now behind Nick Forsyth. As we see in towards the hairpin, Aidan Ward coming in very hard. Oh, Aidan Ward straight into the side of Lauren Murray. Deary dear, that was a big hit for Lauren. And Aidan Ward's car, I think that possibly will have broken the suspension on that car. Bit of a great shame with that one. Thankfully Aidan moving about inside the car, but the car unable to move. So with the safety car is scrambled as the cars make their way up over the crest of the hill. We see a couple of marshals just heading towards Aidan's car at the hairpin now. So great shame for Aidan Ward and Lauren Murray. Thankfully nothing wrong with Lauren's car apart from a bit of a dent in the side. Safety car comes through Clark Corner. Wayne Macaulay controlling the pace behind that BMW, supplied by John Clark. We'd like to thank John Clark for the support that he does give the Scottish Motor Racing Club. And the course cars always, well, the pace car definitely seems to be busy in certain championships, that's for sure, as the guys try and get into the pit lane with Aidan's car. So in towards the hairpin comes your number 1 car, the grey car with the green flashes. Now Blair Murdoch has left a big gap behind the safety car. You need to get up the back of Wayne Macaulay. You need to be closer than that, Blair, a lot closer than that. Right on the back bumper as they come through. Already Wayne Macaulay has a little bit of an advantage as the safety car pulls in down the tri-oval. We can see the lights had already gone off. The BMW is parked up and away we go racing again. Lauren Murray's heading for the pit lane. Obviously something wrong with that car after that fairly sizable contact. Oh, look at the side of that. That's not pretty. Aidan already standing in the pit lane beside his car. great shame for both those drivers. Hopefully we can get that, well, get both those cars fixed and get them back on track. But look at the lead already from the hairpin to Duffus Dip that Wayne McCauley's got. Blair Murdoch caught a little bit napping there. You need to be right on the back bootlet of the car in front of you as the safety car disappears. Otherwise you end up giving yourself a bit of hard work to do at the very start of the race. A depleted Fiesta field now. We've lost it. We've lost 2 cars so far. And let's hope that Lauren Murray could probably get going again from the pit lane, so that would just be 1 car that we're down. Into the hairpin comes Ryan Stirling, though. Stuart Scott on the attack in there now as well, and that looks like Russell Morgan trying to go around the outside. The rejuvenated Russell Morgan's going to go right round the outside of Stuart Scott, and he makes that stick as he leaves the hairpin. He cuts across, he tries to put the squeeze on Stuart Scott. Please don't do that on the main straight. As they go up over the crest of the hill, 2 very hard drivers there, not wanting to give an inch, and Nick Forsyth ready to pick up any small pieces that may come his way from that battle. But Stuart Scott manages to hold off Russell Morgan, and Lauren Murray's rejoined the track now, right into the middle of that battle. Lauren back from the pit lane, obviously been given the all clear by his pit crew and the scrutineers that there's nothing dangerous about the dents in the side of that car. And he can get out there to make sure the car's running straight for the next couple of races more than anything, because after a hit like that, you're worried in case it's bent, maybe a back axle or maybe bent the front axle, or who knows what's bent on that car. The sill definitely is, as is the door in the quarter panel. Through goes number 5 there. Everything seems to be pretty good on it so far, as McCauley goes into the hairpin, chased by Blair Murdoch. Murdoch in pursuit with Ryan Stirling and Stuart Scott side by side, the 2 blue Fiestas. That is Nick Forsyth just going ahead of Russell Morgan in his comeback drive. Great stuff from Nick Forsyth. You'll be happy with that one if you can hold off Russell Morgan to the end of the race. That will be a feather in Nick's cap. Look at this. Oh, something's gone wrong with Ryan Stirling there. Stirling dives to the right hand side of the circuit. Brake lights come on, and what a disaster for Ryan Stirling. And that was a fast man. That was the man who was currently sitting in 3rd place, and it just stops on him going up the main straight. So McCauley and Murdoch, as Murdoch understeers his way through McIntyre's, that will feel like an eternity to get through that corner when you've got that much understeer. The man from 3rd place, Ryan Stirling, is out of the race. It looks like he's just crawling down Duffus Dip towards McIntyre's right now, and that's a great shame for Ryan. The number 33 car returning back to the championship. There he goes there. Ooh, and that doesn't sound nice at all, does it? Let's hope that that's something that he can fix. It's maybe an electrical or a fuel issue. Let's hope, or maybe a battery issue, who knows. Let's hope that that's not an internal engine. Let's let go with that one. Inside the engine, you should say, as the leaders come in towards the hairpin now. One man who won't be terribly chuffed with his race so far will be Lauren Murray at the back there. Lauren in that number 5 car, unfortunately taken off the road by Aidan Ward at the hairpin right here, but also put himself in that position by not getting the greatest of starts. The start wasn't there, dropped quite a few places off the starts, and the first rule in motorsport, don't beat yourself, and unfortunately Lauren put himself in that position. However, the car's still running as Ryan Stirling does finally get to the hairpin at least. He's pulled up a tri-oval for a short lap. But Lauren Murray will be happy that the car's still running. It's going straight and actually putting together some decent lap times thus far. Now, what happened there? Was that somebody turning hard left there? It was, it was Russell Morgan. Just caught that out of the corner of my eye. There's a camera panned away from that. Russell Morgan takes the extremely scenic route through the bottom of Duffus Dip and Leslie's there and rejoins at McIntyre. So very interesting lap for him as Lauren Murray comes alongside. He'll have a little chuckle at that one, we'd imagine. Russell Morgan will be winding the windows down and possibly letting the smell come out the cockpit after that one. That looked a pretty scary fast place to leave the circuit, as the 2 leaders have already left Hairpin and starting to make their way up the straight. Wayne McCauley's lead now up to 4.2 seconds on the last lap. So he is stretching away hand over fist in this race from Blair Murdoch. Fastest lap of the race still goes to Wayne McCauley with a 61.6 second lap. And Blair Murdoch, well, Blair looks like he's just out there having fun right now, doesn't he? Sliding that car at the front end and then at the back end as they go through the corners. Over the crest of the chicane there. A 61.6, the fastest lap of the race. And Wayne McCauley, he'd done that on the 2nd lap of the race. The stage we're at in the race now, the tyres will be very much past their best. Blair Murdoch's fastest lap's a 62.2 second lap. And then the lap times kind of drift off a little bit after that. Stuart Scott's pretty quick though, 62.7 for him. And what's Nick Forsyth? Nick Forsyth currently 63.6. So he'll be trying to go that little bit faster if he can in towards the hairpin to come. Great view over the back of Edinburgh as we look out towards Clark Corner there and see the hairpin coming into view right now with the Russell Morgan car. After that big off he had going through Leslie's there, Russell has kind of got himself back together. Wow, Wayne Macaulay, beautiful, beautiful drift through the top of Duffy's Dip there. That was absolutely sensational stuff from Macaulay. Absolutely on the limit, just tippy-toeing the car past the apex with a tiny bit of opposite lock, not too much. You'll be letting the car do a four-wheel drift there, and that really is pretty cool to watch. Blair Murdoch does the same going through the chicane as Russell Morgan now starts to catch up. Russell Morgan's having another bite at this. He starts to catch back up to the back of Nick Forsyth. And Nick Forsyth starts to defend as they go from the chicane up towards Clark Corner right now. Russell Morgan, that's a good name for him, throws it up the inside and tries to muscle his way through there as they come through Clark and head towards the hairpin. As Wayne Macaulay up the main straight, he goes, look at the size of that lead now. Every lap is extending over Blair sideways Murdoch. And then Blair in turn can see no threat behind him from Stuart Scott, who now comes through in vision there, car number 3. And Russell Morgan ahead of Nick Forsyth. Nick Forsyth not finished with this one yet, and Lauren Murray still having a good little view off the back. But we wait for this battle to come into view, and here they come. In fact, that's Stuart Scott. The next couple of cars, it should be Morgan, Forsyth and Murray. Bearing in mind Lauren Murray a couple of laps down as Nick Forsyth comes through there. Looks like Nick might have just missed the apex at the top of the hill by a couple of cars widths there. And Russell Morgan absolutely on it on this lap. Russell Morgan's fastest lap, a 62.6 just now. So he's considerably faster. He's basically just going to try and hold it together and remain on terra firma. Stay on the black stuff, Russell. Cars always go better on the black stuff than they do on the green stuff. As we hear Wayne Macaulay leave the hairpin and Blair Murdoch in the background. There comes Stuart Scott. Passed me on the motorway this morning arriving to Knockhill, 7:30 in the morning, cut me up as we come off at junction 4 and flew past me all the way up towards Knockhill Racing Circuit. Claims he never saw me, but I think he was already in race mode as Russell Morgan 37 leaves the hairpin now. Word from the pit lane is Aidan Ward's car, broken bottom suspension arm. So that's quite good to know. That should be fixable for the guys at PCR, Paul Curtis Racing. Paul Curtis himself not racing this weekend, unfortunately. He would have been a welcome addition to the grid. Just a little bit too much work on. Whoa, no, Russell Morgan, what are you doing? He's gone off once again, and this accident hasn't finished yet, ladies and gentlemen. Comes back on the circuit. Russell Morgan, good grief. And he was just looking for probably the quickest, shortest way back onto the track there, but you've got to watch how you rejoin the track. If you rejoin the track without care and attention, the race direction will be wanting a little bit of a word in your ear. But Russell Morgan throws away that position again and gives it to Nick Forsyth. Nick Forsyth will be loving that. But loving life right now, Wayne Macaulay, car number 1, up towards the checkered flag for Wayne. Another victory. That's 7 victories this year for Wayne Macaulay as he crosses the line. In second place, 4.4 seconds back, is number 85, Blair Murdoch. And we have to wait 14 seconds from the time that Wayne Macaulay crossed the line and 10 seconds from when Blair Murdoch did to get Stuart Scott across the line. And Nick Forsyth is going to hold on to 4th place ahead of Russell Morgan. And, well, the inboard footage from Russell Morgan will be absolutely class. Lauren Murray completes the lineup as well. And all the drivers now back through. Let's hand down and find out what their thoughts are after the race.
Congratulations, Wayne. Quite a lonely race for you there.
Yeah, it was, but I was half expecting Blair to stay on the back of me after the safety car because he was kind of close for the first couple of laps, and then he kind of dropped back a bit, and then that was when they got the gap, and the car just stayed awesome the whole race, so it was a good race. It's
a lot cooler than last time. You'd be quite pleased about that.
Didn't feel it out there. Still sweating. But yeah, it was definitely a lot cooler than the last meeting, yeah.
And you've got 2 races tomorrow. Have you got any tactics? Are you going to change the setup at all on your car?
No, I think we'll just leave it the way it is. It's been going great so far, so we'll just leave it.
Yeah, it seems to be working well for you anyway, so best of luck and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Well done, Blair, P2, and it's your birthday as well, so happy birthday.
Thanks very much. Nice present. A win would have been better, but Wayne's just got the pace on me. And then the longest safety car period in history, I think. And I never even seen the lights go off, so I was kind of sleeping, going to the hairpin, I seen Wayne floor it. and he just built on his lead from then on in.
Yeah, I thought you missed those safety car lights because you just seemed to drop right back from Blair.
Yeah, I mean...
Wayne.
Yeah, I was looking at the safety car lights between the chicane and Clark's, and they were still on down to the hairpin, so I just get caught out there.
Well, you've got 2 races tomorrow, so fingers crossed you can get the jump on Wayne and get that win.
Yeah, the good thing is I nearly got to jump on him at the start there in that race, so I'll work on it tomorrow.
Good, well best of luck and we'll see you then.
Thank you.
And over to you, Duncan, for race 2 of the Scottish Fiesta and Hot Hatch Championship here in Knockhill Racing Circuit.
Thank you very much. Then Fiona, as the cars head out onto track for this Fiesta race on Sunday morning here in Knockhill. Now, guys warming up their tyres as they come round them as per usual. Everybody warming their tyres up following that #1 car, Wayne McCauley. He has been so dominant this year. Let's see if he can convert another one. The 5-second board goes out. Cloudy skies here at Knockhill. The temperature is quite decent to say the least. Full complement of lights. Who's going to get the jump down to Duffy's Dip for the first time of asking, and away we go. Everybody thankfully makes a nice clean start, which is the most important thing, and it's side by side with McCauley and Murdoch, and Stuart Scott also wanting to get involved with this one. They go over the top of Duffy's, through Leslie's side by side as well. Blair Murdoch hanging this one out. It looks like he's going to try and go round the outside here. Will that stick as they go down through Butchers? Possibly McCauley getting the better cut back on the inside. Yes, Wayne McCauley had to fight for that one though as they come through the top of the chicane. And Stuart Scott already under big pressure from Russell Morgan as they go up the back straight in towards Clark Corner. Your 2 leaders through a bit of a gap behind Blair Murdoch to Stuart Scott now. He's going to have to work his little socks off here as Blair in towards the hairpin. That was pretty close. That was very, very close in fact. I like that. Blair Murdoch having a little look at the back of Wayne McCauley's Fiesta there. No contact, but yeah, they're showing Wayne that he's going to have to work very hard for this one as they come up over the crest of the hill. Through for the first lap. Ryan Sterling struggling at the back a little bit there. Still a few car woes for poor Ryan, unfortunately, as the pack all stream through Duffy's Dip. And Russell Morgan now looking at the back of Stuart Scott. Stuart into McIntyre's, missed his apex by a good car's width there. And that's going to let Russell Morgan catch up all the way through this next little complex of corners. Lorne Murray all over the back of returning Nick Forsyth. And Aidan Ward with his repaired car just off the back of the pack just now. But back at the front it does look like, doesn't it look like Wayne McCauley's starting to pull away already as they're coming towards you. But a couple of car lengths between these 2 cars. But look at this, Morgan's made a mistake at Clark's, and that's let Nick Forsyth get right up towards the back of him now as they come in towards the hairpin. Russell Morgan just dropped off the back of Stuart Scott. He's got Nick Forsyth and Lorne Murray with another damaged repair car after yesterday's race 1 drama at the hairpin. Those 2 leaders flying over the crest and the apex at the top of Duffy's and Leslie's. A lot of curb getting used as they go through Leslie's. They'll need to watch for track limits there as they come through Butchers, and then the big deep breath for the famous chicane at Knockhill. Oh, big sideways for Blair Murdoch, and that is going to scrub off all his speed up the back straight. And any momentum that he was building or gaining has now been lost, unfortunately. It looked fancy, it looked pretty cool, but it does ruin your momentum, and that is all that Wayne McCauley needs. He just needs a little bit of gap like that, and he can work with that and build on it in each lap, each sector of the circuit here at Knockhill. We also saw Russell Morgan dropping a wheel over the exit curve at Clark Corner and kicking up a good bit of gravel dust in his pursuit after car number 3, Stuart Scott. Nick Forsyth has just drifted off the back a little bit. He's maybe got his rear view mirrors more full of Lorne Murray than he would like, as we see them coming into Duffy's Dip. Yes, and Aidan Ward starting to get involved in that battle as well now. So Forsyth very much on the defensive now from number 5, the red car of Lorne Murray. And he will see young Aidan, car number 19, coming up behind him, and he'll want to try and get away after yesterday's shenanigans in race number 1. But through the chicane they go and start climbing up the back straight. You can see Wayne McCauley goes through Clark Corner now, and it does look like he's got a bit of a buffer. And Stuart Scott, where was that headed? Must have had a massive bit of turn and oversteer there. The car snatched on its way back towards the apex and drifted him wide towards the gravel. So that lets Russell Morgan come back, and come back he does up the inside. Scott's going to have to give that one up. He does, Stuart Scott. Well, he could have turned in and had contact there, but even though he's a body repair man, you don't want to be repairing your own race car unless you really have to. He's done a very good move, cutting back towards the inside, and he's side by side. It's going to be whoever's bravest on the brakes at a fully committed Duffus dip to see who gets that third place, and it's Stuart Scott steals it back from Russell Morgan as they go over the crest of Duffus and drop down through the dip through Leslie's. Your leader though, no such woes for him, no worries at all for Wayne McCauley. You can see he probably saw Blair having that massive moment behind him, and oh dear, that's Stuart Scott. So something's happened just out of camera view there. Stuart Scott has gone off after just taking the position back at Duffus dip from Russell Morgan, and he rejoins the track at the exit of McIntyre's. No damage on Russell's car, so one can only imagine Stuart has got a little bit keen going through there, and managed to drop a wheel into the grass and land at the exit of turn 3. So that gives Russell Morgan another step on the podium. Isn't he having a fabulous mid-season stretch of form? He's got Nick Forsyth behind him. Nick Forsyth's onboard camera could have possibly caught that, so Nick will be able to have a little watch of that when he gets home tonight. And Nick Forsyth has actually started to pull away from Lorne Murray. I'll be pretty happy with that. Stuart goes by at the back. And no damage to that car. We can see a black skid mark halfway down the hill there, so that could possibly be from Stuart. We did see him going a little bit quick into Duffus and wide past the apex. Maybe had the old famous lift-off oversteer. The back of the car breaks free the minute you lift off the power, and round she goes. Anyway, let's concentrate on what we've got just now, because at the front it's that man, number 1 Wayne McCauley, leading from Blair Murdoch, and Blair with that mid-race massive moment and save through the chicane has unfortunately just lost the toe to the back of Wayne McCauley, and that puts this man Russell Morgan into third place after Stuart Scott jumped from the podium position and found himself in the greenery halfway down Duffus dip. Nick Forsyth though hasn't given up any hope of possibly getting onto the podium here. He is still very much well and truly in the shooting distance or shooting range for Russell Morgan. So Russell's not going to have it all his own way. Blair Murdoch again though misses an apex by about a week and a half there at McIntyre's, just trying to carry so much speed in, but possibly now, but his car looks very, very loose at the front and the back. So the guys up at PCR there will be needing to do a few little tweaks in that. Paul Curtis will be possibly checking and tweaking tyre pressures. I think it'll be a bit late in the day to do anything to the suspension. A few clicks here and a few clicks there, but Blair's car looks very loose. It doesn't have much front end grip, and it doesn't have any rear end grip as it goes through the chicane. As through the last corner comes Wayne McCauley, and he accelerates up towards the start-finish line in front of race control, and the marshals checks off yet another lap as he goes past there. A bit of encouragement from the pit wall. Blair Murdoch still in a fine second place with a massive gap behind him. He'll be happy with that, but look, yeah, Russell Morgan under pressure from 54 and number 5. That's Forsyth and Murray, and got to say Aidan Ward's in there as well, so if anything happens, Aidan Ward could be picking up a podium here, as well as getting through the pieces of Fiesta that might be strewn across the track. That better McIntyre's from Blair there. Got his apex and pretty much nailed it, and yeah, much better through the chicane as well. So maybe the 2 mad moments in the last lap were driver kind of induced, she always say. As something's happened as well with Nick Forsyth here. He's dropped off the back of Russell Morgan, and Russell will be having a big sigh of relief in that car as he comes through. Clark's much more neat and tidy. The rest of the guys all use as much apex and exit curve as they can get away with. Into the hairpin now for Nick Forsyth, checking the mirrors just before he turns the car through the corner, one would imagine, and up the main straight. You've got to get your gear changes absolutely spot on here as we go over the crest of the hill to start another lap at Knockhill. And look at the size of the lead that this man Wayne McCauley has managed to eke out towards the end of the race. He does it stage by stage, a little bit at the beginning of the race, but towards the end of the race, whether he's looking after his tyres better than the rest, he just has much more pace towards the end of the race. As we see Nick Forsyth not only understeering his way through McIntyre's there where the front of the car doesn't want to turn, but understeering his way into the gravel at the edge of the corner as well, and that means his tyres will now be dirty, so grip won't be as good as it has been. Also, the other thing with doing that is you could possibly pick up a puncture. Nick will be well aware of that as the guys head round towards him, but now Russell Morgan has been well and truly let off in this battle, because Nick now looks like he's fully focused in trying to retain the position of 4th from Lorne Murray, and another mistake leaving the hairpin for Forsyth, and that lets Murray get a little bit alongside now, but he's not managed it. Look at Aidan Ward also flashing about in the back there, trying to get a better position than he's got. Very aware of what happened with himself and Lorne Murray yesterday, but that was then. This is very much now, and Aidan Ward is a racer as they go over the crest to Duffy's Dip. Down through Leslie's, you can see Nick Forsyth already trying to think about being a bit defensive into McIntyre's. He doesn't actually defend, he carries big speed in. Ward's up the inside. Oh, that was close. Aidan Ward put a nose in there. Lorne Murray said nope, chopped the nose off him, and Aidan managed to slow that car down without any contact, and that has kind of separated the 3 cars up just that little bit as you go up through the chicane now through Clark Corner. And this one getting very tasty as we get towards the end of the race. In towards the hairpin, Forsyth with a big enough gap now not to worry about Lorne Murray. And just from the hairpin to turn 3, you can see just how much it separated those 3 cars up after a couple of dives. A little bit of gravel thrown in the face of somebody as well, as sideways showboating now. Showtime Macaulay comes through Butchers, goes over the crest of the chicane, and just makes it look so easy, doesn't it, as he goes up the back straight. It's never really easy to win a race. You always have to battle something. But Macaulay, in his Fiesta, makes his way through Clark Corner, now heads towards the hairpin. He will be absolutely in love with this one. The big gap that he sees behind him, and Nick Forsyth will not be loving this, because Lorne Murray again on the attack in towards Clark's. He puts the Fiesta in the middle of the road. In fact, both defending on the right-hand side of the track. Going in there was Forsyth. And Lorne Murray trying to go past on a white line, which was almost invisible because Forsyth was on top of it as they come in towards the hairpin. Now this is definitely not over, is it? As we come through the hairpin, Aidan Ward also has kind of homed back into this and kind of decided to home himself into the gravel and exit the corner, so that has ruined his chance of getting further up. As we come through McIntyre's, Macaulay and co are underway, but we're going to focus on the Nick Forsyth battle with Lorne Murray, because Lorne Murray looks real racy here. The top 3 spots are basically set, with Wayne Macaulay looking like he's going to have a comfortable victory over Blair, Murdoch and Russell Morgan rounding out the top 3. But the big battle on for 4th place as we see the blue and the red car over the crest of the chicane. Now Murray looks so much quicker through the chicane. Forsyth straight onto the defensive. He can only make one move, he can't move back in the braking zone, which he doesn't. That means he's compromised his exit speed as Wayne Macaulay takes a checkered flag. Murdoch takes a good 2nd place. We see Morgan at the hairpin, and it looks like Nick Forsyth's going to manage to hold on to this after a massive push towards the end of the race for Lorne Murray. Morgan goes through and Nick Forsyth does take 4th. 5th for Lorne Murray, 6th for Aidan Ward, and there's Stuart Scott after a cracking comeback drive. But oh, what could have been Stuart Scott. The guys on the podium with some poorly fitting Yokohama hats, and let's hand down to Fiona for some post-race.
Congratulations, another win again for you, Wayne.
Yeah, that was a good race there. It was actually quite close with Blair at the start until he made a mistake coming through the chicane. Had a big moment, and then the gap opened up, and then he couldn't close the gap, so just kept on for the win.
And what are the conditions like there today? It's quite windy and it's a lot cooler than previous meetings.
Yeah, well, I actually found the conditions better today than they were yesterday, because the car actually went faster in that than it did in the race yesterday, so I think the conditions are good for the day. And
does the cooler air, does that help cool the engine down?
Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, thanks very much, and best of luck for race 3. Another win.
We'll see.
Thank you. Well done, Blair. P2 there. You had a monumental sideways moment.
Yeah, a big, massive sideways moment at the chicane a few laps in, which lost me loads of momentum. And Wayne had loads of pace anyway, so it was well in front. And but it was a good race. Made a good start, so I'll just need to try that again later on.
Yeah, I need to get Wayne off that top step.
Definitely. I'll try it in race 3.
Good. Well, best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Russell, P3 there, had a good little battle with Stuart Scott.
Yeah, I enjoyed it very much. It's Stuart and I have been racing nice and closely for quite a while now, so it's always lots of fun. We were close racing yesterday, and he ended up in front of me, so I was quite happy to end up in front of him today. So
it must be good battling with someone that you know quite well, because they know that they're not going to take you off.
Well, absolutely. You can feel very confident going into the corners. You know that he's right there and he's right beside you. But he's going to stay there right beside you and he's not going to thump you off. So it makes you good, and it means that you can go for things confident that you know he's going to be okay and he knows that you're going to be doing the right thing.
So have you got any tactics for race 3 today?
I'm just going to do more of the same, actually. I've been speaking to Wayne. He's been sharing advice with people and he's confident enough to share advice without worrying that we'll beat him. But changing some things I'm doing around Duffus, and it seems to be helping a lot, so I'm going to keep doing more of that.
Perfect, that sounds good. Well, best of luck for race 3 and hopefully we'll see you on the podium again.
I hope so, that'd be nice. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
So as the SMTA Fiestas and hot hatch cars roll out into pit lane and Knockhill, the last car, the 33, just going past us there, Ryan Stirling. Ryan had a bit of a disaster earlier on when we were believing that an alternator belt come off the car, and unfortunately the car stopped not long after that. But this man, number 1, rolls past us. Current reigning champion Wayne McCauley. Does anybody have anything for him in this championship? Well, it doesn't really appear so. He is absolutely on form. Every time he gets on the track, it's like everybody else just knows the outcome of the race and what's going to happen. These guys behind them, they need to raise their game. One man who has been raising his game this weekend is Blair Murdoch. Blair matching, if we could say, Wayne McCauley for lap times, but just Wayne has a couple of tenths in his pocket. And over a 12-lap race, a couple of tenths just adds up every single lap. Stuart Scott at the back as well in this race. Let's hope Stuart has a nice, good, clean race. And Lauren Murray also sporting a bit of damage from an earlier incident with young Aidan. And let's hope that doesn't come raise its ugly head again. Aidan Ward just making a little mistake in the hairpin, too quickly, and collecting the veteran, or should say, collecting Lauren Murray. Stuart Scott just narrowly managing to avoid some of that incident as well. As we see the cars now coming into hairpin, and they'll be up towards their grid slot for this, their final race of the weekend. They have had 3 races, 1 race on Saturday and then 2 further races on Sunday. You can see some quite energetic tyre warming from Blair Murdoch there as he rolls up. And let's give Nick Forsyth a shout out as well, returning to the championship. Nick Forsyth, car number 54, just going past us here. Great to see Nick back on track after quite an extensive break from the Fiesta ST Championship. So the 30-second board goes out. Does anybody on this grid of Fiestas have an answer for number 1, the grey and green car of Wayne McCauley? The next board will be the 5-second board, and then we'll be under starters orders, and it will be all eyes on the Beatson's Building Supply Bridge, and to see who gets the jump down towards first corner. These are long 30 seconds today from our starter, but the light sequence now starts. We have 4, we have a full complement of 5 lights. Lights out and down towards the first corner we go, and Ryan Stirling seemed to miss the start by a day and an age there, whether he wasn't in gear, something went wrong. But down they come, and once again, it's that man in the number 1 car. Wayne McCauley leads over the top of Duffus Dip. A little bit of tyre smoke further back from somebody locking up the light inside wheel. That could have been Lauren Murray, and Stuart Scott sides up the inside of Nick Forsyth there. As we go on board with Nick Forsyth, some cracking vantage points from the Fiesta ST here. As Nick goes over the chicane, we pause just to let you hear the car. Let's climb up the back straight with Nick Forsyth as he follows Stuart Scott into Clark Corner. Top 3 already through. Russell Morgan in 3rd place. And then Ryan Stirling gets past Lauren Murray. But look at this at the hairpin already. Blair Murdoch really giving Wayne McCauley something to think about in this race. Wayne McCauley not having it all his own way on the first lap as the guys come up across the line now. McCauley, Murdoch and Morgan. 3 M's at the front there as they go over the crest of the hill down towards Duffus Dip. Look at this, so Blair Murdoch in the white number 85 car, giving Wayne McCauley a little bit of pressure. So temperatures have come down, and these guys will need to adjust the cars to suit the track temperatures, whether it's a little tweak to tyre pressures. I don't believe they would be doing too much to dampers. Easy for the commentators to say, but I'm pretty sure they will be fiddling about a little bit with tyre pressures just to try and get the optimum setting so the tyres last long enough. Probably go through their peak performance after about 5 or 6 laps. I imagine the tyres will be past their best, but look at this, Blair Murdoch right underneath the boot lid of Wayne McCauley as they head round towards the hairpin. Onto the brakes again, where Macaulay is incredibly strong, is braking at the hairpin. He seems to have that well and truly worked out as they make their way up the main straight now. We'll be looking in his mirror, just seen that over this lap he's put a tenth or two into him. And Macaulay will be quite happy with that. Further down, Forsyth, Stirling, Ward and Murray go through. And you just watch the guys go over the top of Duffus. Meanwhile, look at Russell Morgan attacking Duffus dip. Russell Morgan really has come of age this year. He is turning out to be, well, after a couple of grass tracky moments in the first race, he's turned out to be a bit of a hard racer, to tell you the truth, as Russell Morgan, and he really is impressing quite a few people in the paddock as Lorne Murray sneaks through on, I believe that was Nick Forsyth there, or was that Aidan Ward? That was Aidan Ward actually. A brave move from Murray through the apex of Butchers as the top three go through. Then Stuart Scott broken free from Ryan Stirling, Nick Forsyth, Murray and Ward now as all the cars go through. But again, look at the hairpin. Blair Murdoch really closes up on the very last part of braking, but if anything, that's him running into the corner. It looks like he's maybe running it a little bit too quickly towards the turn of the apex point. Macaulay gets on the gas that little bit earlier and manages to then drive it up the hill, and that's what it's all about. Corner exit's so important, especially in a one-make formula that leads you up a hill. Macaulay through Duffus, then through Leslie's, named after the late great David Leslie. That's what this meeting is all about. It's a David Leslie Super Touring meeting. And Formula Ford guys have a special David Leslie trophy race. But that corner at the bottom of Duffus dip, fast left-hander, which catches quite a few people out. It can bite you. Named after the late great David Leslie, Jane Leslie and son Graham, both here in attendance today, and they absolutely love watching these local guys race. As we go once again on board, let's enjoy Nick Forsyth here. Nick working away on the steering wheel as he goes through Clark Corner. Some good onboard footage there. Murdoch has not given up this race. Blair Murdoch very much in the hunt as they get a couple of laps under their belt now. A big gap back to Russell Morgan. These two guys at the front. Blair Murdoch currently the fastest man on track with a 61.785 second lap. He did that in lap 2 of the race. If anything though, it looks like Blair's just dropping off the back of Wayne just that little bit as they go through turn 3 McIntyre's just now and head down towards Butchers. We get Russell Morgan through now. The next car should be Stuart Scott, chased by Ryan Stirling. Is Ryan Stirling starting to catch Stuart Scott? I believe he may be actually as they go over the crest of the chicane. And Nick Forsyth still holding off the pursuing Lorne Murray, and he's pulled away from Aidan Ward. Meanwhile, did you see Ryan Stirling and Stuart Scott coming through the chicane there? Stuart Scott being very aggressive as they go through Clark Corner now. Yeah, and Stuart Scott looks like he's got trouble, and that trouble is number 33, Ryan Stirling. Ryan entered as a guest this weekend, does not actually enter for the championship, but he'll still race very hard. Look at that, Stuart Scott I'm pretty sure let him pass there. Stuart may be thinking about the championship. He let the faster, more youthful, I like that, Ryan Stirling passed as they go up the main straight to chalk up another lap. Fastest lap of the race was Wayne Macaulay last time round. Wayne Macaulay does a 61.4 second lap, and that was a tenth and a half faster. Almost 2 tenths faster than Blair Murdoch, so Macaulay now starting to stretch his legs at the front a little bit, albeit not by much, because Blair Murdoch still keeping him very honest as Nick Forsyth still holds off Lorne Murray in the number 5 car. Red 5 car. Down Butchers over the chicane. And Stuart Scott looks like he's just struggling a little bit for grip there. The back of the car is a little bit wayward as he goes over the crest of the chicane. We're about to see, I believe, Nick Forsyth come under great pressure from number 5, Lorne Murray, as we get into the business end of this race here, the SMTA Fiesta and Hot Hatch Championship. Third race of their 3 here at Knockhill this weekend for the Super Tourers. Over the line, the leaders have gone. They're already at Duffus. Russell Morgan in a bit of no man's land, but still on the podium. We'll be happy with that. And look, you can see just how much Macaulay's now pulled away. And this is where Blair starts to, it's like he's maybe worked his tyres too hard in the early part, and he starts to look like he struggles with a lot of oversteer, then understeer in the car. So whether he's driving the car just a little bit too hard to try and keep up with Macaulay, but very well saying that and easy saying that from the commentary box here. As we see Russell Morgan go through, and we wait for the next car. Should be Stirling, then Scott, then will it be Nick Forsyth or Lorne Murray? It's still, only just Nick Forsyth. Lorne Murray was having a look up the inside there, but it was coming to nothing. Through the hairpin goes the #1 car, the reigning champion. Accelerates up towards the checkered flag. 61.5 second lap last time through to Blair Murdoch, 61.8, so 0.3 of a second. Quite a lot round here, not killed. Look at that, beautifully executed over the apex of Duffus there. Wayne turns that car and it just kisses the big sausage curb. Oh, as Blair Murdoch gets far too much sausage curb at the apex of McIntyre's. Well, last time through we saw him understeer wide past the apex. This time he cuts the apex so tight he hits the sausage curb. So Blair with a little bit of inconsistency at that corner, but still blindingly fast even with that, as Russell Morgan rattles past in 3rd place, still ahead of Ryan Stirling and Stuart Scott. And Nick Forsyth still holding off Lorne Murray, and if anything, Lorne Murray will not like to see Aidan Ward coming up the back of him, especially what happened to those two chaps yesterday at the hairpin. Pretty sure that's all done and forgotten about. It is racing. Incidents do happen as the leaders come through and out the hairpin. The two white cars currently sitting in 4th and 5th place. And Ryan Stirling, a great addition to the championship. Yes, entered as a guest, but we do want to see him back on a more full-time basis. Oh, was that a missed gear for Nick Forsyth? I think it would be, as not one but two cars go past him on the main straight. Nick Forsyth will be kicking himself for that. Checking the mirror, down the gear, turns it into Duffus. Let's ride with him here. And the camera quickly changes away as we go down and in towards McIntyre. Oh, Lorne Murray in there, far too hot. Wide, he's going to come back on in front of Aidan Ward. And this could be quite close at the chicane. Ward, discretion being the better part there. He uses his head there. Very young Aidan Ward, driving very maturely there up the back straight towards Clark Corner. Nick Forsyth, though, will be absolutely livid with himself. That must have been a missed gear on the main straight as Ward now kicks up the gravel X of Clark. And you see, if you miss a gear, you can see exactly what happens to you. You got engulfed by the two guys behind him as they come through the hairpin. So Lorne Murray was following Nick Forsyth there, actually feeling quite comfortable. Gets ahead of Nick Forsyth and then makes a mistake straight away. So it just proves it is easier to follow than it is to lead, as the leaders are already through the top of Duffus and going on the exit of McIntyre's down towards Butchers. We wait for this battle. This is the battle for 6th, 7th and 8th into Duffus Dip. And Nick Forsyth is not finished yet with the back of young Aidan Ward. As we see Stuart Scott going through, sponsored by his own body repair company. Kind of handy sometimes, Stuart. I'd agree with that. Over the crest of the chicane. Look at Murray using a little bit of the red curb there, so he's got to watch. Too much of that, and race control will be having a little bit of a word with you, and they'll also display the black and white diagonal flag from the start-finish line with your number, and that basically means driver warning. As a driver, you know we are taking a little bit too much exit curve, entry curve, or apex, so you tend to have to wind it back just that little bit. Through the hairpin goes Ryan Stirling. Great to see Ryan's car still going. There was a little bit of a worry whether that car would make it or if it was going to maybe put some of the water out. And if anything, Ryan Stirling looks like he's actually starting to catch up now with the back of Russell Morgan. So Russell Morgan's going to have to watch. If he slackens off just that little bit too much, he's going to come under intense pressure from the two guys following him. So Russell's going to have to keep his wits well and truly about him here. The gap from Morgan to Stirling right now sits at 3 seconds. So can Ryan get that down at all as they go through the chicane? See the contrast in lines as they go through the chicane there. Stirling much straighter than Stuart Scott as the other three guys go through. Nick Forsyth with a bit of a demon line through the chicane there as well. Looked like he was going to try and use both curbs. Good stuff, Nick. You see photographer in the background's had enough. And Lorne Murray comes through. Photographer missed a good photo opportunity there, but there, meanwhile, crossing the start-finish line goes your current champion and race leader, the man who is on an absolute mission this year, is Wayne McCauley, #1 into Duffus Dip. Watch this. Turns it in and just beautifully floats the car down the middle of the road through Leslie's on the brakes. Car looks pretty much planted and set up. You can see the back wheel pawing the air as well, so absolutely no droop in the back of those shock absorbers whatsoever. Lets the car, the minute he turns in, the light little wheel lifts off the ground quite a lot. Up the back straight he goes towards Clark Corner now, chased by Blair Murdoch, chased as much as Blair can, but it's all about Wayne McCauley's. We wait a day and an age for Russell Morgan to come through, but he looks safe in 3rd place because he has a big enough buffer over Ryan Stirling, who in turn looks safe over Stuart Scott. But this man here has been absolutely sensational this weekend. He accelerates from the hairpin, grabs gear up towards the checkered flag. Wayne Macaulay, defending champion race winner, takes yet another victory here at Knockhill. Blair Murdoch tried very hard, even in the beginning of that race, to push him as hard as he could, but Blair will be happy with that second place. He drove very well there, and Russell Morgan comes home for another podium, and he looks delighted with that as Stirling and Scott cross the line as well. So the SMTA Fiesta Hot Ash Championship sees the rest of the guys come across the line with Murray, Ward, and at the back Nick Forsyth. Let's hand down to Fiona for some post-race interview.
So Wayne, deja vu, back on the top step of that podium.
Yeah, it was quite difficult. The first few laps of that race there, Blair was giving me a lot of pressure, and it was probably making me a few mistakes, but I think I got a better run out one of the corners and got a wee gap and just kept the gap and kept it consistent.
Yeah, I was going to say Blair kept you honest for those first few laps, and then it just seemed to drop back from you, but that must have been what it was.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's what you're looking for out here, is a bit of competition.
I have to admit, I was hoping for Blair to be in the top step just to mix it up a bit, but yeah, well done anyway. I think it's 8 wins this season.
Yeah, I think it's 8, yeah. Maybe Blair will get it next time though.
Blair, another P2 finish. Thought you were going to win that one. You kept keeping Wayne honest there.
Yeah, I was quite surprised. I actually made a couple of wee changes to the car, so it was a wee bit quicker to start in the first few laps, but after that it just kind of tailed off slightly. But Wayne made a great start, so he had a clear run into the first few corners. So it was the worst start of my weekend, but it was still pretty good and quite happy with second again.
Good, and do you think it was your tyres that just fell off after like 4 laps?
Yeah, partly tyres, partly suspension set up, to be honest. Just need to have a look at it for the next meeting.
Yeah, have a little tinker around and hopefully we'll see you on that top step eventually.
Hope so, thank you.
Thanks. Well done, another P3 finish for you. Must be happy with that.
Yes, I'm very happy, thank you. The thing I was thinking before we started was I really just wanted to keep the position. I started in the third and I really didn't want to go down to fourth. So
it was the first few laps I was watching and I thought, oh, this is going to be an interesting race with the 3 of them, but Wayne just seemed to walk away again.
Yeah, he did. It's like he was warming up for a few laps and then he decided to get going properly, and I thought for a while I was going to be able to stay with him, but I just couldn't do it, and then I wanted to stay close enough that if anything went wrong, maybe I could take advantage, but even that didn't happen. Maybe next time.
But you'll be happy with the P3 finish anyway?
I'm very happy with that, yes.
Good, well we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.